Hey guys, Stefanie the English coach here again with my second live streaming video on Facebook. Anyhow, I wanted to do this a lot sooner, but I've been under the weather. I kind of explained this in my last video. My throat has been affected. It makes it difficult for me to talk, but I've been recovering. So I was like, hey, I should get back in there and I should do another video because a lot of you guys don't know me or anything about me basically. So I thought I'd make a video sharing my life story, more about me, who I am, where I'm from. I see that I have a viewer. Hey, what's up? Comment, tell me where you're from. Anyways, this video is about just a little bit more about me, but you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to go and see if I can share this manually from my, see, there's the throat thing. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can share this into my group so everyone can see it easier. I just don't know how to do it. Bear with me. I'll get to the story. It's kind of long. Oh, I found out how to do it. Posting as... I tried to have this set up earlier so that I could just like click, click, get it done. But again, this is the first time I'm sharing it, so I'm sorry. I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot in this video. Okay, and done. Okay, so now we're good. Now I can tell you more about myself, who I am, where I'm from, everything like that. So my name is Stefanie. As you know, I was born and raised in California, and my parents immigrated to California before I was born. So like 40 some years ago or something. They went from, they went to California from Argentina. And I don't want to get too much into their history because my family has been immigrating all over the world for a long time from one country to another. But the gist of the story is, hey guys, I see I have viewers. Hamada, how are you doing? Hamada used to be one of my students, you guys. So that's really nice to see. Anyways, feel free to put stuff in the comments if you guys want to say hi. Tell me where you're checking in from, which country, which city. That'd be really cool to see and read. And then I'll shout you out. I'm still not used to these live streams, you guys, so forgive me if I sound awkward when I'm doing this. I'm not used to it. But, okay, so yeah, my parents immigrated to California from Argentina. So I was born and raised there. And if you know anything about South America, Argentina, they speak Spanish down there or down here because that's where I'm at now. And I'll bring the story back around. I'll let you know why I'm here and how that happened. But basically, I was raised in California. I said that like a million times already. I'm sorry for being so repetitive, but they never taught me Spanish. That's the point I was trying to make. And I felt like a whole big part of my identity was missing as I was growing up because I was like, my parents are from Argentina and they immigrated here, so technically we're like an Argentine family, but I don't speak Spanish. None of my siblings really did, and if any of them did, it was more like a broken Spanish. So anyhow, it became my life goal to learn Spanish. And when I was 15 years old, or 14, thanks, Amada. I'm really glad I'm doing the broadcast too. My throat is finally a little bit better. I just have to keep clearing it, so don't get annoyed, you guys. Anyways, yeah, so it was my life goal to learn Spanish. I went to high school, and at the high school I went to, they had an immersion class for, or not immersion, a native speakers class for people that already spoke Spanish. And they had regular Spanish for people that didn't speak Spanish, me, people like me. Well, I was in the regular class for about 2 months, and then we did a presentation, a country presentation, and I presented Argentina. There's Ivan. Ivan used to be one of my students too. Say a sentence in Spanish, please. You want to hear my accent? What do you want me to say? ¿Qué quieres que diga? Estoy acá hablando por el, ¿cómo se dice? Iba a decir Skype, pero no es Skype. Okay, so there it is, just a little bit of Spanish. I have to do this in English because not everyone understands Spanish. But anyhow, so I'm going to get sidetracked so easily. I can already tell. I get easily distracted, you guys. So if you can follow what I'm saying and go back and forth with me, you guys are solid. Oops. According to the video I just posted in the group today, doing that can be a bad thing in some countries. So I don't mean to offend anyone. Sorry. Anyhow, okay, so back to the story. I was going to go into, I went into the regular Spanish class, and it was really boring for me because I grew up around Spanish. I didn't speak it, but I grew up around it. And so I was like, man, this is too easy. And I was so dedicated. And my teacher had the worst accent ever. It was so bad. Since I grew up hearing Spanish all the time, I just knew what good Spanish was and bad Spanish was. And she was like really bad, okay? And anyhow, when we did the class presentations, I did mine on Argentina. I told the story of how my family was from there. And after the presentation, she took me to the side and she said, Stefanie, what are you doing in my class? You need to go into the native speakers Spanish class. And I was like, are you crazy? I don't speak Spanish. And she was like, no, 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 trust me. You grew up around it, right? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you're going to pick it up really fast. So just trust me, go into that class. I'll make the arrangements. You can test it out for 2 weeks. And if you like it, stay. And if you can't keep up, then you can come back to my class. Well, 2 things happened there. First of all, if anyone ever tells me if you can't keep up, you can just go back to doing what you were doing, that's like a challenge for me. And I love a good challenge. And so because I took it as a challenge, I did really well in that class. And the funny thing is, though, the teacher interviewed me in Spanish before allowing me into the class, kind of. And I don't even know what he said because I pretended like I understood him. And I just pretended I was really shy, which I'm not. And I was like, sí. Like sí means yes in Spanish, okay? So I just pretended and he let me in the class and I ended up doing that class for 3 years and within 3 months I already understood the language. It was amazing how quickly I picked it up, but I also studied really hard for 2 hours or more every single night. I would bother my parents. I would look everything up in the dictionary. I was extremely dedicated. And then, but something happened to me because I was in that class with a whole bunch of other native speakers and the teacher sometimes made me feel like self-conscious because he would, I don't know, just put me on the spot a lot in the class and I didn't like that. So again, I would pretend I was really shy and so what happened was I became embarrassed. I became embarrassed to use the language because I didn't want to mess up, because I didn't want anyone figuring out that I didn't really know as much as everyone thought I knew. So that created a whole complex in me that to this day I'm still trying to work out because I became such a perfectionist with the language that I had to speak it perfectly or not at all. And that's why I can relate so well to you guys speaking when you're trying to do English and everything, because I know what it's like to be embarrassed by your accent. I know what it's like to be embarrassed by your grammar mistakes. I know what it's like to everything that you guys go through. Except for the people that are so confident, that are like, I can just, speak this language and if I mess up, I don't care. I admire those people because I'm not like that. I get embarrassed sometimes. I work on it, of course, but Ren, my husband, he's like that. He will just start learning a language. He doesn't care if he messes up and he just goes for it. And I really admire that. So I guess we're a good balance for each other. Let's move on from high school, okay? So I did that class, and then my whole goal with all of this was to become fluent in Spanish because I really wanted to take back that part of my culture that I didn't have growing up. So in college, I decided to major in Spanish, and I decided if I major in Spanish, I'm gonna have to get fluent. If I don't major in Spanish, I'm not gonna make the language a priority, and it's gonna fall by the wayside. That means I'm not really gonna do it. So I made it my major and I studied it. I did pretty good. I didn't really love the program at my college. I went to a couple different ones. The story is going to get really long if I go into all the details, so I'm going to skim over some stuff. So I studied it in college. I signed up for the study abroad program. and to come to Argentina. That was my life dream, you guys. I could not imagine my life aside, like past that, beyond that. I had to go to Argentina. That was the only thing I knew. That was the only thing I dreamed of. That was the only thing I wanted, really, was to come here where I'm at now. So I signed up for the study abroad program. I was about to get my degree. Like after the 6 months in Argentina, which was the phase of the study abroad program, then I would have had 6 months more to study to get my degree. I never finished my degree, and I'll tell you why. But anyhow, I see we have new people joining in, guys. Welcome. If you haven't like put down in the chat where you're tuning in from, go ahead and do that. Tell me, what your name is, and tell me where you're tuning in from, because I can imagine there's people watching from all over the world, and that's pretty darn cool. So anyhow, tell me where you're from. All right, back to the story. So I signed up for the study abroad program. I did a lot of fundraising to be able to come to Argentina. I was working at that time a whole bunch of different jobs. I've always been working, like since I was 13, I started working, and I love it, and that's my thing. So I just find odd jobs to do, and I do them, and anyhow. So then I raised some money, and I got my ticket, and I came, and this is the crazy part. Because my family's originally from here, so that means I have a lot of family members still here. Some of my grandparents were still here, cousins, aunts, uncles, etc. Ren's mom, this is like a complicated thing. Ren's mom and his dad have always been, for many, many years, good friends with my grandpa, my mom's dad. So when they found out that their friend's granddaughter was coming to Argentina, they said, hey, we'll go get her at the airport. We'll do you a favor. Well, they did. They went and got me at the airport. I didn't know them. I didn't know who they were. I just knew that some family was coming to pick me up, and my husband's mom picked me up. At that time, I didn't even know Ren, but I got to Argentina. She picked me up. We went to their house, and then I met Ren. He was literally the first guy I met here, you guys. And 5 months later, we were married, okay? And that was 3 years ago. So it's a really crazy, almost soap opera-ish story. But that's what happened. We met, and we started living together from day one because his family was hosting me. So that's kind of funny. And anyhow, after that happened, we fell in love, we got married, and then we're like, well, now what do we do with our lives? Like, I had originally come to Argentina to study, and I got married. Like, who does that, right? But I did. And he was not planning on neither of us were actually planning on marrying until we were like 30. I'm 25, by the way. Anyhow, none of us were planning on getting married, and we were like, this changes everything about our lives. What do we do now? Where do we settle? Because everyone was asking us, now what? Like, where are you going to work? Are you going to finish your studies? What are you going to do with your lives? Where are you going to, get a home and all this stuff? And we were like, well, we don't know. So what I did know is that Ren didn't know, he wasn't familiar with the U.S. He had never been. So I was like, well, I want you to meet my family. I want you to see where I'm from. So we did a trip to the U.S. We were there for a few months, and it was nice, but then I was like, I think I want to go back to Argentina. I'm not finished with Argentina yet. So then we came back, and it was nice, and we started studying in a city called La Plata. We started studying a degree to be translators, but it was like a 5-year program, and then I was like, I don't think I want to study for 5 years. I've been studying for 4 years already, and it just didn't feel right, so we stopped that, and I kind of went through this limbo, like, what am I doing with my life, But I found some work here, I found some work there, and I started thinking, all right, his family lives in Argentina, my family lives in California. I don't want to have to choose right now where to live. I want to be able to stay here for a while, then go there, but come on, guys, like plane tickets and travel, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. So I was like, well, I'll just have to figure this out. So I started doing a lot of research online, like how can I make this happen? How can I live here, live there? And I realized that the best way to do it would be to find work online. So that's what we did. I worked as a writer online. I got a job as an English teacher giving classes online, and that's where I got a lot of experience with just meeting a lot of people around the world that want to learn English. So the story's getting really long. Are you guys hanging in there? Are you understanding? I'm going to wrap it up soon, but are there any questions so far? If you guys have questions, feel free to type them in. I'd love to respond to some questions. But anyhow, we were both working online, and then I got bored of being here. We got bored, and so we were like, well, we're working online now, so why don't we just travel a little bit? And we were like, okay. And that was last year. And last year we did a lot of traveling, like too much. We went to California to visit my family. Then we went to New York and we did couch surfing over there. We stayed with a guy for a week for free. He was really nice. And he was actually from Ecuador, I think. And he showed us around the city. We went and walked around every day by ourselves, just exploring it. Then after that, we wanted to go all around Europe, everywhere. And we did not everywhere, but we went to a lot of places. We went to Ireland, we went to Denmark, we went to London, Switzerland, Italy. And a lot of this was just discovery for us. Like, I have family in Europe too, and so we went to visit some of my family there. He has family in Europe. His grandparents are from Italy, so he was going back to find his roots. He basically did what I did when I went to Argentina. So I went to Argentina to find my roots. When we went to Italy, he found his roots, so to speak. So then we came back here, and I had gotten a job online for an American company in sales, and it was a really great job, but I knew I didn't want to stick with it just because I had already had some bigger vision in mind that I wanted to do, and it's something I'm working on now. So basically, after teaching English online and having all of these experiences, traveling, getting to know people around the world, I realized that there's this huge need for, like, how do you say, like, connecting the English speaking world with the non-English speaking world. There's so many people out there, you guys would know because I'm talking about you guys, that study English for a long time, but they have nowhere to then practice it or use it because, let's face it, if you're living in Egypt or Russia or, I mean, I don't know, any country really, how often are you going to have an opportunity to practice English? You know, maybe you won't because you don't know anyone that speaks English personally, and you only studied in an institute or a school, and you really want to use the language. So anyhow, I have so much fun teaching and sharing the language that I was like, I will just start sharing it. So that's what I did. I made the group that a lot of you guys are in now, the English Island. And the idea is that that's just the beginning. I'm actually creating an online academy for people that are really serious about being fluent in English and want to take it to the next level. There's going to be like really fun assignments, group projects, but everything is going to be centered around interacting in English with English and doing things that we actually like, because it is important to study the grammar, but at some point you do have to use the language with other people. So anyhow, that is a really generic explanation of what I'm doing. Again, feel free to ask questions, you guys. And I do want to put on a side note that the group that I run, I've primarily been the one posting in it, and that's fine, but I want to encourage you guys to post, okay? Your English does not have to be perfect. My English is not perfect, okay? Your English doesn't have to be perfect, but it'd be great for other people to post because, you know, the more people that post, the more interaction there is. And not only that, when you post, you are giving yourself a challenge. You have to come up with an idea, you have to write it out. When people, you know, comment, you have to respond to their comments. You're actually creating an opportunity for yourself to improve your language. So with that said, I want to encourage, you know, more people to post. You guys have seen what I've been doing, and you see the amount of comments it gets. It's not because I'm special or something like that. It's just because I take the time to respond to, you know, everyone. Actually, that's what I was doing more so in the past. And it's just really fun. So the kind of posts that tend to work best, if you're wondering like, but what should I post? One, stories. Like, you guys saw my dog shit story. That was hilarious. And I know funny stuff like that happens to all of us all the time. And the group is a perfect place to post these ironic little anecdotes about stuff that happens in our life that kind of just makes us laugh or go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. That's funny. That's stuff people can relate to. So there's that. And then also random questions like, oh shoot, I just lost it. But like, would you prefer this or would you prefer this? You know, interesting stuff. Like, what would you rather do? Would you rather study English in the UK or the USA, and why? Or something like that. I don't know. Or a poll, if you create your own poll, like which one do you prefer, A, B, or C, and why? Or I'm trying to think what else worked really well. I know questions work really well. You don't want to write like a huge paragraph. I've realized that those aren't working too well. Those don't get as much engagement. You don't have to make a big explanation like, hey Islanders, I'm doing this because, and blah, 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 and da, 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 and here's my question. I think it's better just to say, hey guys, what's up? And then write your question, you know, because it's just more concise and to the point. And I think it'll get higher engagement. As people get used to seeing other people post, they'll start engaging on it more. I'll definitely engage as well to set the tone. But does anyone have any questions so far about anything I've said, my story, or about me personally, or about the group? Because at this point I'm rambling and I've been talking for 21 minutes and my throat is starting to hurt. So if there's no questions, I'm probably going to end this and I'll try and do another one tomorrow or, you know, as soon as possible. Any questions? Anyone want to tell me where they're checking in from? You can just write, like, where is it? Like, are you checking in from Moscow or what country? I just kind of want to see where people are watching from. Hang on, my computer went down. All right, so anyhow, the next time I do, Ivan says, no, I'm from Peru, yay, we have some interaction. Awesome, Ivan, I'm like your neighbor, your South American neighbor, kind of. So you guys, when I made the first video, I wanted to do these every single day. I love sharing, and I know in the beginning it's awkward, even for me, a person that's like very social, just because you're like, it's weird. It's weird to do a video where you're live and people can watch you from anywhere. Like, it's kind of creepy in a way, but it's cool too, right? So I wanted to keep doing them every single day, but my throat wasn't letting me. I was just really sick. So I will try to keep up with this, you know, provided that I can talk tomorrow like I can today, and it'll just be fun. And the more I do it, the easier it'll get for me to not feel awkward, and the easier it'll get for you guys to just, you know, be brave and put your questions down in the comments and, you know, respond, because this is actually for you. There's so much I have to say, and I could go on for days about, you know, the importance of being proactive with your English and putting yourself out there and being brave and not being afraid to mess up and commenting and asking questions and doing everything you can, you know, because I'm here. Like, I could be cooking my dinner right now, or I could be doing something else, but I'm here with you guys. Like, right now there's 14 of you. And that's really cool. Like, I'm here with you guys. I'm here for you guys to just give you my time. So if you have questions about anything in English or whatever, I'm here to help. So anyhow, that's all for today. I have a glass of water sitting here on the table and I'm looking at it like I really want to drink it. I need it. So thanks guys, it's been great and I look forward to doing this again, okay? So take care and I will see you next time. Bye.